Hey everyone, excuse me, I'm still trying to get over this little cough thing I had. Today we're going to be talking about a classic Goosebumps book that everyone else seems to love and adore, and I myself just kind of don't. I think I tried to read this book a couple of times in the past, and I never could get into it when I was younger, and I figure out now, as an adult, a lot of reasons why I think that was the reason that I couldn't get into this so much. I'm a little surprised that this particular book is so well celebrated the way it is. It has so many sequels. So many sequels. That book is Monster Blood, the original classic Goosebumps Monster Blood book. Now, this copy is not an original, copy of Monster Blood. It actually came in this really cool collector's retro tin that came out with like 4 other books or 5 other books, something like that. It had The Beast from the East, The Night of Terror Tower, Legend of the Lost Legend, and Why I'm Afraid of Bees in it. But yeah, I have this, and then my original copy that I tried to read a bunch of times was the reissue from like 2005 or 6 or 4, somewhere in there. I believe that this is one that I got at a school book fair when I was very young in elementary school, which is kind of cool as a history type thing for me being a Goosebumps fan. Thought I'd show that to you. I like to show you multiple copies of the book if I have them when I go to do my reviews and stuff. But anyway, excuse me. Monster Blood. Yeah, by the way, back here I have my real Slappy ventriloquist dummy. It's not a deluxe or anything like that. It's just a version that you can turn his head and, he has like a carved out back. It's not like one of those plushy chest versions or anything like that. It's kind of cool. I love this old one. I got rid of the old original plushie one. It's kind of a dumb, stupid move on my part where I was an idiot and didn't think about the memories that I had attached to that one. But I have a lot of memories attached to this one too. So I decided I'd put it there in the background for the videos. Anyway, Monster Blood. Yeah, everybody loves this book. And it's not that I hate this book. It's not something like just undisputably bad, like, or indisputably whatever it is, like Nightmare on Clown Street from the Most Wanted series. It's just a really, I would say Monster Blood is a little too silly for my taste, is what I really think about it. Which is weird, because you have books like Chicken Chicken that I haven't read, that I can only imagine what those are like, because I've heard a lot of bad things. But I don't know for sure. I'm not going to judge it just yet. But Monster Blood is what I would call a filler book. It's not as important as something like Night of the Living Dummy. It's not as foundational as something like Night of the Living Dummy. It's just okay, in my opinion. I'm not really amazed with Monster Blood. I don't know how they're going to do a bunch of sequels to this. I know that the second book has Cuddles. I know the third book, it's like a kid growing up huge and being enormous. But what else can you do with it? I know the fourth book, it's like the last book ever from the original Goosebumps 62 book era. I know it was like a Gremlins ripoff is what I heard from people. I'm really interested to see what happens with the series. And I don't know if I'm going to read through all of them just all at one go. But I wanted to at least read one for the summertime. I didn't know if these were summer books or not, because I'm trying to do summer book reviews right now for Goosebumps. So I didn't know if this was going to be a summertime book or not, but I decided to go ahead and read it. For anybody who doesn't know the story of this book, you have a main character named Evan, who essentially, his mom and dad are trying to find a house out in another like state or something. They're probably going to have to leave him with his Aunt Catherine for like 2 weeks, and possibly more, possibly less. We don't really know. Now, Aunt Catherine is a very strange woman. She's deaf, but she never wanted to learn sign language so she could communicate a little bit easier with other people. So you kind of just have to just mumble under your breath or just say things out loud. She can't hear it, who cares? But if you want to really talk to her, you have to kind of just write down on a notepad, which isn't integral in the story. Nobody really does that. Everybody just kind of listens to her ramble on about stuff, and then they just go on with their business, which is fine. Whatever. Now, where does Monster Blood come in? Now, the thing I hate the most is that Monster Blood, it's only called Monster Blood because it's a catchy title, and it could sell books being called Monster Blood. See, like this cover here, I always thought, well, you know what, let me hold up the one that I had. And I read that copy from the Retro 10. I didn't want to damage my reissue. But I always thought this was actual blood from some kind of monster that was stabbed or something in the house. I don't know. That's not what happened. It's basically a toy goop, in a little blue can that sort of kind of glows a little bit. It's found in a toy store when our main character Evan and his new friend Andrea actually go to a small toy store looking around and stuff. And essentially this goop just, it may or may not be a living organism, we don't really know. When you put your hands into the little container that it's inside of, it stays like freezing cold, we don't know why. Then at one point it seems to be growing, like getting thicker, becoming more alive almost, very warm. It starts growing so big that it overflows out of its container, and it's hard to find new containers to put this thing inside of. I don't want to tell you too much. That's why I seem like I'm kind of rambling about a lot of different things. Monster Blood is literally one of those gooey toys you get from like a Harry Potter figure from like the 90s. I don't know if you remember when Chamber of the Secrets came out. They basically had Harry Potter toys come out, figures, action figures, whatever. It was like the basic Harry Potter figure, and then it would have like gray cobwebs like sprayed onto the actual robes and stuff that Harry Potter wore. It was a really cool looking action figure, honestly. But then it came with like this little container with just goo. And that was like a weird slime type thing. That was like a 90s thing. Like slime was such a big deal. And I guess maybe Monster Blood is birthed out of the obsession with slime that seems like 90s kids had, and what kids now seem to be going back to in some way, shape, or form. It's kind of died out again, but it seems like a lot of people were into that recently, including my fiance. She was all into this. I still haven't played with slime before, aside from the old slime with figures like that Harry Potter figure I'm talking about. There's not really a whole lot to talk about with this book. Again, it's a lot of goofiness, it's a lot of silliness, and that's fine, whatever. I'm not expecting every single Goosebumps book to be scary, but if it's gonna be campy like how this is supposed to be, I expect it to at least be a little bit better than what I got. I hope the rest of the series is not like this. I don't know if it is or not. I know that like Zach Baby TV is one of the only people here on YouTube that talks about Goosebumps, or at least used to, that talked about how he didn't like Monster Blood all that much. And it seems like everybody else blows this out of the water and talks about how incredible it is. And every once in a while you come across a Goosebumps book that people praise to death, like Deep Trouble, and it actually ends up being good. Fantastic, actually. But then you read something like this, and you just don't know how it got 4 or 5 sequels. I don't know what it was about this book that was so appealing to people, where it got so many sequels and became so integral. It has like more sequels than any other book or villain or anything like that in the entire classic era of Goosebumps. It's weird stuff, man. Really weird stuff. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the book. This Monster Blood stuff that's really not Monster Blood, it's just like a toy that may or may not be alive. A goop that may or may not be alive. It's really not like scary, and it's not really that funny either. It's just kind of, again, this is very silly, very campy, very weird, and just odd, and like everything from the deaf aunt to the plot twist at the end of the book that I'm not going to spoil for you because I try not to spoil everything for you. But the book, in like the third act, the giant twist that you typically get with a Goosebumps book is so out of left field, just out of absolutely nowhere. I don't know how to put it into words. It's one of those really weird twists that explain something that you want answers for, and yet it's not satisfying, in my opinion. I'm curious about whether this is going to be brought into explaining the Monster Blood from the sequels, you know? I'm really interested in that. But again, I won't tell you too much. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm not a fan of Monster Blood. It's just whatever. You know, again, I'm curious to see if the sequels do better. I've always heard Monster Blood 2 is the best of the series, but I've always heard immediately after that the first book, this book, is supposed to be the next best one after Monster Blood 2. But I don't know. You never know. With these sequels, you never know. You never know. Maybe one day if I read Horrorland Book 3, that's Monster Blood for Breakfast. It's like the 5th or 6th book in the entire Monster Blood series. You never know. I might read that and find it to be my favorite. I don't know. It could be. I don't see a reason why I don't want it to be or anything like that. Yeah. This is a really weird, like, book. You know? It's real odd. I don't know what it is. And in some way, this book almost feels like a completely different person wrote it. And I know people discuss that all the time about R.L. Stine not writing all the books, and I kind of could understand if that was the case, even though he says it's not. I don't know. I don't really care enough to doubt the man or go after him over that or anything. But this book would be the exception that I'm like, this feels like a completely different author writing this. It doesn't feel like R.L. Stine. At least what I've come to know as R.L. Stine from other Goosebumps books I've read. It's a very dry style. Very dry. And it doesn't feel like it has so much personality behind it, like a lot of Goosebumps books, especially in the classic era, had. You read Goosebumps Ghost Camp, the original from the classic era, and it doesn't read like this. And yeah, that was much further in the later parts of the books, but still, it's kind of surprising to me what this reads like versus what some of the middle area Goosebumps books read like Deep Treble and whatnot. But anyway, guys, when it comes to Goosebumps Monster Blood, did you love the book? Did you hate the book? What did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this book or about the series itself. Just don't spoil anything really for anybody, because I don't want to be ruined myself. I would like to read all the books and find surprises if there are surprises to be had. When it comes to Monster Blood, if I had to rate this on a 5-star basis, I think I'd give this like a 3 out of 5. I'm not impressed. It's very bland. It really doesn't have a whole lot going for it, in my opinion. That's just me personally. But I could see other people liking this a lot more than I did. Again, a child might love this. Monster Blood as a title, yeah, it's pretty appealing. It appealed to me back in the day, but like I said, I tried to read the book like 2 or 3 times, I believe, when I was younger. Like 13, 14, 12, 10, something like that. And I remember I never got through the book. I'm pretty positive I never read the entire book all the way through because of how slow this read is. It's not very... The pacing's real off with this book, and I think a lot that I think a lot of that has to do with how there's not a whole lot of a plot, you know? It's just kind of kid goes to deaf aunt's house, hangs out, finds a goop toy thing in a little container after he makes a friend. Situation. Finale. Book. Yeah, that's not enough for me. Anyway, Monster Blood, 3 out of 5 stars for me. What did you guys think? I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Once again, thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. Excuse me. I keep losing my voice. Hopefully, like I said, you'll stick around, subscribe, or whatever if you like the video. And maybe you'll see a review sometime soon for like a Monster Blood sequel, maybe 2 immediately after this one. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Like I said, I want to read the summertime books during the summertime, and then enjoy the Monster Blood books as they go along. You know, I don't want to rush to anything. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy talking about these books with you guys. And I have fun already, so I want to talk about books, these Goosebumps books specifically, in a way that feels passionate, you know, because I am passionate about this. I want to seem like I care about these books when I talk about them. So yeah, be cautious with how, or not be cautious, but, you know, just be weary. That's probably not the right word either. Be patient, is what I want to say, as I try to make my way through all the Goosebumps books and talk about them, because there are sometimes I want to read something that I want to read versus what somebody recommends to me. I can see people already being like, oh, he started the Monster Blood books, you know, let's jump on a bunch of those. That's fine. I don't love this. I'm not looking forward to the other ones, honestly. I am in a way because it's Goosebumps, and there could be an improvement, but still, this one's pretty rough. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I've done with the review. Thank you guys for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.